everybody, welcome back to the Rhode Island Computer Museum video exhibit series. Today Sam has brought from the warehouse this. Sam, what is this? What is this exactly?
Well, this is an IBM 5100. This was released in 1975. So this is the first computer in the IBM 5100 series, which would include the 5150, better known as the IBM PC, the XT, and the AT. This was the very first model that started that whole series of personal computers.
So I'm looking at the form factor here, and I see the little CRT, little screen. I'm assuming that's amber, maybe? It's not color.
I think it might actually be black and white CRT. Okay. It's a 5-inch CRT that built into the system.
I don't think this is something you would generally see at somebody's house. So what?
Oh no.
Okay, so where would this be?
I'd be very surprised if you saw this at someone's house today. This was geared towards the scientific and engineering community.
But we do our flight tests right here in the lab on our 5100 and save time and money.
See, before the 5100 like this, you basically had mainframe style computers. There were some very large desk size computers called mini computers that weren't necessarily a mainframe, but they weren't really portable. You couldn't put them on your office desk. They were the size of a desk.
Sometimes they were the desk.
Correct. This was actually called a microcomputer and was actually considered to be portable. This is something that you could bring to a work site, to a different job.
Bad weather, late deliveries, construction delays of all kinds.
How is it going to affect our schedule?
Now we can find that out fast.
The 5100 can help handle some very complex information.
Things like that. And this was mostly meant to conduct scientific calculations.
So I did, when you say portable, I did help put this on the table.
Yeah.
How much does this weigh? Because I could really lift this.
Well, don't say that because it only weighs 55 pounds.
55. Okay, so 55 pounds.
It weighs 55 pounds, which is very hefty. That's more than I believe an IBM PC with the monitor weighs together if you were to pick them both up. It is very heavy, but this was considered to be a technological achievement when it was released. To be able to have a storage drive, be able to have a keyboard, monitor, all built into this one package. Again, this is the first computer that went away from a desk-sized computer that could do everything that the big mainframes could do. And the way it was able to do that is that this actually has software that emulates the programming language of APL that the mainframes would utilize. So it actually doesn't run APL. It emulates the software to be able to do that. And so it's very uses kind of trickery on IBM's part to be able to accomplish that.
I feel like something like that would kind of be a game changer in the industry at that point, because you have a machine that can emulate a machine that probably costs 10 times as much, even at that price, and is 10 times the size.
So this was really a huge technological achievement by IBM. This was the first personal computer, if you want to call it that. Although it is not labeled as a personal computer, that would be the PC, if you want to consider that. But this is a very different architecture than the PC. It's not related to that in any way. It had 16K of memory up to 64K of memory, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in 1975, 64K of memory was a lot of memory.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Commodore 64 and 82 had 64K of memory, so this is 7 years prior.
And back in 1984, that was still considered a lot of memory for a budget computer to have. 64K at that time was still considered a lot. For the time, this was a lot, but you paid a premium. These machines were not cheap. These were not meant to be, these were not geared towards the home consumer, these were not geared towards small business or anything like that. These were simply geared towards large companies.
We're a mid-sized life insurance company. If we want to compete, and we do, we've got to be flexible. We've got to get answers fast. This little machine will help us do it.
Conduct their calculations and communicate with their servers in a more modular fashion. These machines cost at launch in 1975 between $9,000 and $20,000, which, adjusted for inflation, is between $42,000 and $93,000 today. So these are not cheap machines. These are not machines you're going to find at a yard sale.
We're talking universities had these. Real research. So this is not even, like you said, not even small businesses. So this wasn't doing word processing. This was literally just number crunching on-site stuff.
Right. In the front of the machine, there's a switch right here. I believe this one, or it might actually be this one. I can't see in the front there. But there's a switch, one of these two switches in the front there, can actually switch between basic and APL. It has a magnetic storage medium in the front here. These
I was going to ask about
cassettes here.
Built-in tape drive for storage.
Yep, this tape is a 60 megabyte tape. And of course, to me, the biggest contribution this computer makes, the IBM 5100 line, is the red massive power switch in the front.
Yeah,
that you still see in...
this was the first.
Correct. The 5150 had it on the side. The XT, the AT, even some of the PS2 lines in the late 80s, early 90s still had the red switch on it. You're looking at this machine, I can see the similarities between this and the 5150, which came
even
out
looking
6
at
years
the
later.
design,
Yeah.
it looks very in that line, you know.
Right.
More to do with those computers that came later versus the ones that came before this one. When I saw the 5100 on here, as Sam was talking, there was one thing that I thought of, and this is by no means anything to be considered research with this machine, but I believe it was the infamous or supposed 2004 time traveler, John Titor. This is the computer he went back to the 70s for.
That is correct. John Titor came back from 2036, all the way from 2036, yes. Which again, if you're going to pick a time that you came back in time from, pick a time that no one's going to be able to call you out on it. And you know, don't pick 20 years in the future, 30 years in the future. Pick like 100 years, so no one's going to be around to call you a liar. But anyway, he said he came back from 2036 and he needed to get a chip or some chips off of a 5100. And the reason being is that there was some type of nuclear war, I believe, in the future, and those nukes were controlled by an IBM, I believe, 370 mainframe computer. And these computers right here were designed to emulate the code. Yeah, they were allowed to emulate the code for a 370 mainframe and do everything that that computer could do. So if he was able to get the chips off of this, somehow they could either stop the nuclear war in the future or control the nukes. I'm not quite sure the entire story, but it's a pretty detailed. That's a pretty detailed story. At least you got to give the guy credit. If it isn't true, he had to really do some research, and I'm not sure if he ended up getting those chips or not, because these computers are rare to find today. They're not cheap to find. I've never seen one sold. I've never heard of one being sold, and they are very heavy. So I mean, just shipping alone.
Or time traveling.
Just shakes. You can see it bouncing on the. And that's how heavy this thing is.
This entire well-made table
Yeah.
could break under the weight of this.
And we have it in the perfect spot, right in the middle of the table where the
distribution.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this definitely is an interesting machine. Again, this is something that we do have here at the museum. This kind of goes in and out of the lab as a display piece that you can definitely come see if we have it on display at that time. As always, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
You want to plug this in?
No, don't do that.
The IBM 5100. It's bringing the advantages of the computer to more and more people. IBM, helping put information to work for people.